Hey, welcome. How's it going? It is time for rest-based training with me, Ricky Stewart. I hope you're ready to do some good stuff. We are still super early, so I always like to just start and I get some stuff off my chest about exercise, about things that I think about, the clients I have, and how I deal with them, what the things that I do, and the reasons why. Because there's always got to be a reason why. Just because burpees are an exercise, they might not be for you. And that's okay, you know. You don't have to do a burpee. It's an arbitrary thing. You get down on the floor, you get back up, it makes you sweaty, it gets you, it's a little bit of a press up, it's a little bit of a squat, it's a little bit of a jump. It's an exercise, it's fine. But it depends what you need. Depends what you're doing. Depends on your exercise history and a little bit of what you enjoy. You might not really enjoy them as you do them, but then when you finished, you're like, yeah, I did it. You enjoyed it, essentially. That's what that boils down to. If you hate it while you're doing it and then you finish it and you're like, I hated it, I don't want to do that ever again, then don't do it ever again, and find something that drives you. Find something that makes you want to turn up and do the stuff and do the thing, because that's got longevity. It means you come back, it means you do more. It's so much more rewarding if you enjoy it. You've got to enjoy it a little bit. And there can be a little bit in the moment of like, oh, this is so tough. I don't know if I can do this. I don't think I can manage it. And then you do. And then you do the thing. And it's amazing. And that's so cool. I love that. That is what I'm after from these classes. Hi, how's it going? Hi, Natasha. So, and a little bit about, because we've still got time, 3 minutes for me to ramble on before I get started. I've got a little bit about, oh, Hannah. Can I grab my phone? I need a timer. So a little bit about specificity of exercises. There's this thing, the law of specificity, when it comes to exercise. So when you're, thank you, when you're let's say you're a footballer. A footballer is going to be someone who needs to run fast, be able to put the brakes on. They need to be able to use their ankle, use the feet. They need to be able to be strong. There's specific exercises to help you get good at that. You can't just play football because you end up only ever doing the one thing. And they do gym work, they do strength and conditioning, but they are specific to the tasks that are at hand for them to be a footballer. And I think about that when I get a member of the general public. I think about what they do as a job. Are they sat down all the time? Do they sit over a computer like this? So I'm going to say, I'm going to get you good at segmenting your spine, being able to sit up tall, and for you to be able to move and articulate your spine. So it can do all of the things, so that when it has to sit here for a while, it's got the strength to be able to contract, and it knows its shape to be able to pull you around and move around. And that means that you get a spine that works. And that's it. And it's complicated, it's so hard to think about, but it makes sense. So let me just get this timer on and we'll go through the exercises we are doing today. I don't know if I could spell timer, there it is. So it's 1 minute of each exercise. 1 minute of each exercise, and it's your best effort. So you are trying to put in as much as you can within that 1 minute, but you rest whenever you want. That's why it's called rest-based training, because you manage your own rest times, because this is your workout. And I always say about you don't need to kill yourself off. You don't need to be pushing to absolute failure so that your arms are shaking and you just squeeze out that one last rep. It doesn't need to go to that space. But that being said, it doesn't need to be floating around in too easy either. There's this little bit where you continuously push yourself forwards, but you leave just enough in the tank to be able to go again soon. And that's kind of what I'm after from this class. So the first exercise we're going to do is just a simple squat, but we're going to try for some easy plyometrics. Plyometrics is things like jumping. So you sit into a squat, you come up fast, and I want you down slow, up fast, down slow, up fast. And it's like you are putting the brakes on the way down, like you're trying to be trying to control that way down every time and push kind of fast on the way up. If you don't have plyometrics for your knees, for your ankles, you can change it. You can change anything. You can do the squats onto your sofa like this. Just try and think about pulling your knees back and not leaning forwards to stand back up. So knees pull back and back down, knees pull back and back down. So you've got 1 minute of that. Then we're going to go for a press up to shoulder tap. So it goes 1 press up, shoulder tap, 1 press up, shoulder tap. What I want from the shoulder taps is that your hips don't rock around. So when you're down, you press up, you go 1 press up, and see how my feet are wide, I tense my bum, and I try not to let my hips rock around like this. And then we'll go for shoulders, going up. I'm going to make this one quite a regular appearance because I really like it. I'm going to just go on my knees so you can see my hands. So go arms over head, pull your hands back, do shoulder press, and then pull back as far as you can, and shoulder press, and pull back as far as you can, and shoulder press, and pull back as far as you can. So when I say pull back as far as you can, just practice this with me now. When you pull your arms back here, have your hands by your pocket, and try and touch the wall behind you. Try and really reach for the wall, and then pick them up a bit higher, reach for the wall. Pick them up a bit higher, reach for the wall. Bit higher, bit higher, bit higher, reach for the wall, reach for the wall. Try to touch the wall behind you, all the way up. So you're right up in this end range, shoulder press, end range, and hopefully you get all burny shoulders, and we're trying to get all of these muscles around the rear of our shoulders to do their thing. And then we'll go for elbow to opposite knee. So lying down on your back, into this position here. So elbows up, knees up, elbow to opposite knee, elbow to opposite knee. And I like these nice and slow with a little squeeze there every time, trying to get this shoulder to roll up so you're twisted through your torso, and then we're back to beginning. Okay, let's get this going. That's it. So starting with squats, we're on, sitting down into that squat, little jump, and it's not really a jump, it's just up fast and down slow. If you do a really lean forward squat like this, use the sofa, sit on the sofa and stand back up again. And you don't have to be completely upright like that. I can do that, and that's fine for me, but other people have different things going on. But I don't want to see a really excessive, see how my hips pop back when I do that. It's not that look, because that's me just levering through my lower back. I want to see your legs do the thing. A little soft landing every time. Arms forwards as you sit into the squat. Up fast, down slow, and then rest whenever you need it. Shake it off and jump back into it. Okay, so wide feet in these press ups, tense your bum, and it's 1 press up, shoulder tap. And you can change these press ups for whatever you want. So if you need to be on your knees, then you could go press up, plank, shoulder tap. If you're on your knees, you could do them elevated on the sofa. You could do them without the shoulder tap if you feel like having your weight on one arm is just too much for you right now, then that's fine. We'll work it out. That's it. Keep tapping your shoulder, trying not to let your hips rock. See how my elbows come close to my ribs as I come down, look. Elbows are tucked in to my torso. Yes. There we go. Then I'm going to keep doing this on my knees. Doing this on your knees is actually quite good because it takes your ankles and your knees out of your body kind of moving around. And you can see this push to find all of the muscles in the rear of my shoulders, and I'm moving slow and trying to teach them how to do the thing. For your torso, I teach this lots of different ways for different people. You could tense your belly really hard, which is ribs pulled down, and do it like this. So you're trying to get hollow body as much as you can, so you're trying to flatten your lower back. Or you could go into full extension. You could go ribs up, tuck your chin, and squeeze into extension here, and try and tense your bum and feel like you're in control of how your spine goes. Okay, back to these squats. Hands out in front, slow down, little jump, slow down, little jump. I quite like this little jump because eventually, hopefully, your feet will land in the position that suits you best to be able to create force through the floor. Keep slowly dropping yourself down into your squat. I'm not so keen on a big lean forward like this in a squat, remember? So that means your hips don't travel too far back. If your cue is hips back and you end up like this, that cue's no good for you. That cue could probably be better if you say, keep looking up, keep your hands forwards, and drop, and drop, and drop. Yes, there we go, into this press up shoulder tap. So we're trying to get our abs to be able to control anti-rotation. You're trying to be strong here. Have your feet reasonably wide apart so that you don't rock your hips as you do the shoulder tap. That's it. Keep muscles in your belly on. Keep your fingertips pushing into the floor. It's getting hard now. Little rests when you need it. And then jump back in again when you're ready to go. So you can rest when you want. If you need to do 3 press-ups and have a rest, that's your deal. That's it. Let's get into this. Shoulders again. I forgot the ab exercise again, didn't I? I ruined everything. Just follow me. It'll be alright. So, arm swing back, shoulder press. Arm swing back, shoulder press. See if you can irradiate. See if you can squeeze your fists on and reach your hands back. And squeeze fists on as you reach hands back. Keep muscles in your belly tensed. And there's 2 ways of doing this. I want you to just put your spine in a position that feels a bit new, but you're in control of it. So if you hang back like this and you feel your lower back like compressing and being the only structure without any help from here, that isn't it. You've got to tense your bum, tense your belly, and find this ability to be strong. Pull your fists back, keep the muscles in your belly on. Yes. There we go. We'll do the ab exercise this time. Apologies for that. There we go. So, lying down on your back, elbows up, knees up, elbow to opposite knee, squeeze, elbow to opposite knee and squeeze. Try and breathe. You want to have some kind of breathing as you do this. And little rests when you need it. If your neck doesn't like craning up like this, you can totally do it with your neck on the floor, but it doesn't really work as well with this rotation because we're trying to get into flexion of the spine when you do this crunch, and you can still articulate in rotation. Yes. Right, back to the squats again. So, 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left, sorry. So, sitting into your squat, little jump, sitting into your squat, little jump. See if you can get this slow down on your squat without any free fall at the bottom. Look, so if it looks like this, slow down there at the bottom, you just kind of hang and bounce back out of that. I want to see you own every bit of your squat so you can kind of feel it and understand how this works. Toes push down into the floor, little jump, a little rest when you need it. Okay, 10 seconds. Slow down, fast up, slow down, fast up, slow down, Last up. There we go. All right, 2 minutes left. So last set of these press ups. It's coming down, wide feet, one press up, one shoulder tap, one press up, and one shoulder tap. That's it. A little rest. So a little rest whenever you need it, whenever you feel like you need to just recoup so that you can keep your form quality. Little rest, a long minute, always is a long minute. All right, let's go back to this shoulder thing. You don't have to do this on your knees, it's just better for framing for me. But again, I kind of enjoy it when my ankles and my knees don't have to think, and I can pour all of my concentration into finding strength in knowing every bit of the back of my shoulders and muscles and joints and your neuromuscular system that moves your muscles around. It's complicated and it doesn't know when, it just wants you to do the thing. It doesn't pick out individual muscles. So if you say, well, I train my rear delts all the time, I do bent over flies like this, you're training it's a good exercise, don't get me wrong, and it's not that you shouldn't do it, but if it doesn't involve this rotational finding end range stuff, there we go, then you start to be able to train your joints to kind of work a bit like a gear stick, where your gear stick will slot into first gear, and into second gear, third gear, fourth, fifth, and reverse. And it only knows those bits, but really we want it to be more like a PlayStation joystick where it can go anywhere. It doesn't have these little slots that it goes into. So if you only have a bench press, you only have a row, you only have a shoulder press, you start making these lines that your body knows how to do. It's got this map. Whereas if we can get all of this rotational stuff to work, I promise you, it adds up into real world benefits of making your joints just a little bit more resilient to life. Okay, let's get into our next one. Is going to be the back lunge to kick. I'm very much enjoying this exercise just now. Balance is always such a huge part of my training for myself and for my clients. So I like to know that they're sturdy on their feet and nothing can knock them over, or if they get off balance, they're fine. So back lunge to kick, back lunge to kick. So dropping this knee and trying to kick it. If you look at my opposite arms, my arms go opposite. So if we look at this right leg is the one kicking, my right arm is going to go opposite way. So as my right leg goes back, my right hand goes forwards, and it swaps. And it swaps, and that should help you find equilibrium so that you can balance on one foot. So a whole minute on each leg of that one, looking for a little hamstring stretch, looking for a little strength in your hip flexors. Then we're going to go into a Cossack squat. So we're going wide feet and you're trying to drop your bum down towards your heel. So this one's tough. If you don't have this, let's just have a little practice first. And you can swap it for normal squats. I like these with my feet flat on the floor, but I've got very flexible ankles. So my feet can stay pretty flat and I can sit my bum down to almost touch my heel with my feet flat. If you can, and you prefer to go toes pointing up on the straight leg, you can. If you want to go with a dining room chair in front of you, that can work. That can help to pull you back up if you don't quite have it. If this hurts anywhere that feels like ripping, pulling, doesn't feel right, just swap it and do, let's do sumo squat. So you've got knees pushing out, toes out a little bit, feet a bit wider, and imagine like you're sumo deadlifting a kettlebell like this with your knees pulling out without your knees dropping in like this. Then we're going to go for another press up variation, I'm going to go for the downward dog press up, my favourite, because it helps me to understand how my shoulders are strong enough to take my weight. So downward facing dog, tiptoes, head as far forwards as you can and back up. If it looks like this, tiptoes, head to here, back into downward facing dog, tiptoes, head to here, back downward facing dog. That's allowed because that might be all you've got. If you get to here and you think you're going to touch your face is going to hit the floor, don't let your face hit the floor, that'd be mental. A little bit of core strength there, keeping your spine sturdy, and you're kind of pushing up and through, getting those shoulders to be able to take your weight in a kind of almost handstand shape. Then we're going into hollow body tucks. So touch your heels, so you're tucked up as small as you can, push your heels together, go into hollow body and tuck, hollow body and tuck, hollow body and tuck. I need your lower back to stay glued to the floor here. So your lower back stays pressed into the floor. If you go like this and you make a little bridge under here, that isn't it. You've lost it, you've lost control here, and your hips have tilted. So if you aren't strong enough to go to this shape is easier. You go tuck, so you confirm this crunching up, and then go feet up, and that's much easier than the hard version like that, or even harder like that. All right, let's get this started then. So back lunge to kick first, and then we're into Cossack squats. All right, so it goes back lunge and kick, back lunge and kick. See if you can get your knee to kiss the floor. See if you can find that little connection of knee to floor, and find some strength from your arms swinging that helps to keep you balanced. So watch my head, stays over the top of my standing foot, comes back and kick, back and kick, back and kick. I don't know if you noticed, but I wobbled. I almost lost my balance, but movement helped to keep me balanced because I just went into the next rep and went where my body wanted to go with my head over the top of the balance point. I reclaimed equilibrium. So watch my torso. All right, we're into this other leg. Watch my torso, watch my thoracic spine here as I come down. See my shoulders kind of swap. So left shoulder forwards, left shoulder back. Left shoulder forwards, left shoulder back. Big toes pushing. Of course, if this isn't available to you yet, you can hold on and do them slow. You can swap them for just doing a static lunge like this, or you could swap them for doing an alternating lunge. It's got to be something that you find hard but achievable. It's got to be in your repertoire at least a little bit. If it's brand new and every rep you have to touch the floor, so you go back and you go whoa, and you have to touch the floor and drop your knee and then stand up and then do a kick, that isn't it. Okay, Cossack squats, it's going wide feet, tense your bum at the top. Play around with the positioning of your feet to find where works. So your knees have to stay away from each other to give you space. It's not necessarily bad for your knee to drop in like that. That's not a bad thing, that's an exercise in itself that involves a lot of hip axial rotation, but I'm not after that. I'm after this little stretch here and being able to push and find your glutes to be strong at getting you to stand upright and be able to find this and stand strong upright. Find this, stand strong and upright. And you might need to shuffle your feet towards each other if they keep spreading out. Toes pushing into the floor. There we go. Okay, these downward dog press ups, I really like these press ups as we get this little hint of a hamstring stretch. Your tiptoes and get your head as far forward as you can, and then slide all the way back. Tiptoes, head as far forward as you can, sliding back. Keep finding this downward facing dog position where you've got a little stretch in your hamstrings, stretching your calves, pushing your chest towards your knees. And try and own as much of that movement as you can, so you understand how you can maneuver your body around, where the weight goes, where you can share the weight out, so that you don't start just pouring all the weight back into your feet. Okay, then hollow body tucks. Remember, they've got to work for you. So heels touch your heels, touch your heels. Try and reach back, try and keep the muscles in your belly on. Oh, little rest. Whenever you need it, you take a little second to get your breath back and then jump back in again. Oh, little rest. And then we are back to it, back to these lunges. So, this is always going to be hard. It's never going to be easy, ever. But we're trying to progress our body to be able to do more stuff and to be better than it was the day before. So you've got to try and persuade it. And persuasion doesn't work when you just do something that you can't do. So if you're doing this and it's wobbling around and you can't quite find it, get some help. So if I do this here, look, I've got my hand just here, and every time I just make sure that I'm in the shape. That works way better for me than just wobbling around and not quite getting it. And it's okay not to be able to do something, and it's okay to even give it a good go where you can't do it, but you just want to see where your starting point is, and then you can work towards it. I do that all the time. Loads of exercise, there we go, swapping legs. Loads of exercises that I can't quite do in terms of hand balances and things. I can't do a one-handed handstand, but I know my body, I know my limits. I can go into a handstand and take one hand off the floor and fall over a little bit. I'm like, yeah, a million miles away. Don't quite get it yet. I've got to get better at manoeuvring my weight around when I'm on two hands. And that's kind of this. You've got to get better at manoeuvring your weight around, holding on before you get to be able to start doing it kind of with a big kick and a big kick. Oh, they get hard fast. It's hard on both legs as well. The leg kicking, hip flexors have to do their job. There we go. Let's see these Cossack squats. So remember, you've got the option, if this doesn't work for you, practice with this kind of sumo squat with your feet out wide, knees trying to push out, footprint staying quality before you can start dropping down into this Cossack squat. Another variation that you might want to play around with is hands on the floor, and it takes a load of weight off your hips because your hands start to share the weight of your torso, as opposed to having all my weight pushing down this way. At the top, this bit's important when you tense your bum. That bit here is a big part of how this works. So keep just regaining concentration about what you're doing. It's got to be down to this thinking thinking about what it is that you're doing and how it's happening. So tiptoes, get your head forwards and push back. Tiptoes, head forwards, push back. And it's all about irradiation. So when my head goes forwards, I'm like gripping the floor, pushing my fingertips down into the floor so hard, so that I'm kind of swapping my weight forwards, trying to get my hips up over the top, so that it transfers over into that, being able to push up into handstand press-ups and things. And that might be a million miles away from what you're trying to train for, but there's still a benefit to getting your arms to load up. Okay, let's go into this hollow body tuck. So heels together, touch your heels, go into hollow body, back, hollow body, and back. And try and confirm this crunch. Feel the muscles in your belly on as you crunch up, and go into hollow body, and back, hollow body, and back, hollow body, and back. And your heels push together, keeping your glutes on even. So you've got this cross section of strength here. This is a little bit easier as well. Keeping your hands forwards and your hands overhead adds this little bit of extra weight. Remember to rest whenever you need to give this a little rest. I'm very sweaty. Yes. There we go. We did it. It's done. Hard work is over. You managed it. That was rest-based training. Ah, well done, Natasha. Burny shoulders are a good thing, for sure. Can't believe I forgot the abs again. It's alright. It all worked out in the end. That was fun. I very much enjoyed it. I'm back again tomorrow with calisthenic skills. Come back tomorrow and hang out, and we'll learn how to balance on our hands, crow poses, handstands, headstands, all the fun stuff like that. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll soon be back in the gym for real. I can't wait. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.